Yesterday evening, very well. Yesterday evening.
Our guide informed that yesterday evening a leopard was spotted right here near this water body. Even though the body language of this herd of spotted deer looked relaxed in this summer afternoon, I felt something wasn't quite right. But honestly, even that hunch didn't prepare me for what happened next. Mr. Swami, the guide from jungle lodges and resorts with 15 plus years of regular safari experience in this terrain, called it as his longest leopard sighting. As for me, certainly not just longest but also the best leopard sightings I have ever had. Two leopards, along with several other fascinating wildlife, graced us with their presence in my first safari of 2024 in the Bandipur Tiger Reserve and National Park, a forest that hasn't opened its treasure trove of wonders during my multiple visits before. So sit back, relax, and allow me to take you through this cinnamon-colored trail as sunlight floods through the perforated box of sandalwood at the foothills of Nilgiri, where a wide range of wild open their door for a special pick. Upon entering the forest, our guide informed us that he heard that a bold male leopard was targeting one of the waterholes last couple of days, and perhaps even made a kill. But did he do it? The whistleblower of the jungle was the first to greet us. After driving into the forest for quite a bit, we ran into this common but one of my favorite birds with a hilarious call that sounds like, "I didn't do it, did he do it?" or "Pity to do it," leading to the colloquial name of "Did he do it" bird. Red wattle lapwings are the first to alert other animals on the presence of humans with their high-pitched anxiety call. Some of us might even relate to them if we know that they indulge in midnight snacking and are especially active during full moon. Lapwing eggs are believed to have medicinal properties and are used in traditional Indian folk medicine for the treatment of asthma and typhoid. Many photographers don't like this bird because their calls elicit alert behaviors in other animals, but I find them cute and interesting. Here we didn't want to wait much though, as even without any ill intention, we might cause harm to the potential chicks, as birds and ground predators can follow our movement and attack ground nesting lapwing. Even those who don't come here for safari but happen to cross National Highway 766 often get to see elephants here. It was lovely nevertheless to meet this family inside the forest. After achieving the highly sought-after position of second place in the national rankings of the All India Tiger Estimation Report of 2022, only after Jim Corbett National Park, the Bandipur Tiger Reserve has now emerged as the leading reserve in the Asian elephant population estimation for Karnataka, boasting a population of 1,116 elephants. That's one baby. Two.
Small,
Is there any reason?
By the way, nobody goes around and individually counts so many elephants like once I used to imagine. This is an estimation process which encompassed direct count, dung count, and waterhole count methods across 32 forest divisions, of which 23 reported elephant sightings made during the exercise. The elephant population estimation exercise here was conducted with the help of 3,400 forest personnel by the Karnataka Forest Department, with technical support provided by the Indian Institute of Science under the guidance of ecologist Professor Raman Shukumar. We knew that elephant society is led by the matriarch, the oldest and most dominant female. But a new study published in Behavioral Ecology challenges this view. Unlike African savanna elephants that are characterized by strong matriarch-led unified families, Asian elephant families appear to be less cohesive and seem to lack clear matriarch leadership, the study found. Why this difference though? I have done 6 safaris in Bandipur this time and I will explain the reason in future episode. Today I checked in just 2 hours ago in jungle lodges and resorts before venturing inside this Western Ghats Mountains biogeography zone, surrounded by Mudumalai Tiger Reserve of Tamil Nadu in the south, Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary of Kerala in the southwest, and on the northwest side, the Kabini Reservoir separates the Bandipur and Nagarhole Tiger Reserve. If you are staying with jungle lodges and resorts, as part of the package, you will get a shared safari twice daily, but only this property can ensure a confirmed 3-hour safari slot in a Gypsy. However, whom do you get to share the jeep with can make or break the whole safari experience, as animals fear noisy humans more than the vehicle sound. If your fellow travelers are wildlife enthusiasts, it's still okay. But if you are paired in a jeep who are mostly looking for a tourism kind of experience or expect to see a glorified zoo where animals shall show up at regular periodic intervals, it's not going to be pleasant. And if you are clubbed with a family visiting with kid, start praying. However, call it my superstition, coincidence, confirmation bias, or as I like to call it, hit Susan, I still hoped for great sightings. And that's because just before I entered jailer for checking in, I stopped at a sunflower field at Gunlupet, and I believe some of you have already seen that video. My very first footfall there led to this. But only big cats don't make a forest beautiful and whole. Deciduous of Cnidus, a 5th century BC Greek physician to the Emperor Artaxerxes II, mentioned in his lost book Indica about spotting a talking bird in the subcontinent. Later, the bird was identified as Psittacula cyanocephala, or what we now know as plum-headed parakeet. So we were not just watching wildlife in the forest, we were being part of a moving history of natural world. But with the amount of noise we were making, I was glad that the birds didn't fly away. Oops, spoke too soon. What about black neck here? That you can see. और फोड़ हॉट तो एंटर में दिखता है ना मतलब
4 दिन का पहले मिला।
अच्छा
इधर से थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, दूसरा रोड है, वहाँ पे वो टेम्परेरी है, वहाँ पे लेक के पास।
I made it a point to arrive at the jailer reception area early so that I could get my preferred seat at least beside the driver cum guide to ensure quiet interaction. Also, my short height would be a deterrent in watching animals if I sit behind in a shared jeep, especially considering that people go bonkers at the sight of big cat if that happens. Other members were mostly excited about the prospect of watching quote unquote Sher Khan, but I made it clear to him that he should stop for birding and for other animals too, unless there's an alarm call or clear cues from other guides. Subjected to the constant pressure of guest expectation, most of the safari guides now literally attempt to scout the forest for big cats instead of intelligent tracking. But look at how unique these striped-necked mongooses are. Their remarkable adaptations, such as their imperviousness to venom and lightning-fast reflexes, rendered them highly efficient hunters of snakes and other perilous prey. With color varying from rusty brown to grizzle gray, they are able to take down prey much larger than themselves with sharp claws, including venomous snakes.
Hey, dinosaur. Yeah.
Striped-necked mongooses are opportunistic predators, which means that they will eat a variety of prey depending on what is available. Their diet consists of small mammals, birds, reptiles, amphibians, insects, and other invertebrates. In India, the mongoose is considered a symbol of courage and is often depicted in art and folklore. अलार्म कॉल है जमाल पर अलार्म कॉल दे रहा है नॉर्मल कॉल नहीं है ये First mongoose and then peacock peahen duo. Snakes weren't safe here at all. But is anybody safe now? I wondered. Our jeep moved a little further to follow the call. The first alarm call in Bandipur Forest didn't come from a spotted deer or langur as one might expect, but from red-wattle lapwing and jungle fowl. Another reason why it's important to listen to the birds as they will tell you secrets about the forest that others won't. But the problem with relying on jungle fowl's calls is due to the fact that they can emit warning signals at the presence of anything from snakes to monitor lizard, raptor to big cat. So how to know who triggered this? We need to patiently wait and observe. If you have seen my Kaziranga Safari second episode, you know what alarm call is, where I discussed animal vocalization in great detail, including pooking, wherein a tiger was imitating sambar deer, and so I'm not going to explain that here again. Usually, mega carnivores try to maintain respectable distance with elephants. But in this landscape, that may not be always possible since elephant density in this region is now around 0.96 per square kilometer. And that means elephant sighting is now as good as guaranteed in Bandipur. So I didn't dismiss the alarm call at this site. And anyway, I immensely enjoy watching elephants. The officials attributed the success to the protection and conservation measures, mainly by frontline field staff and improvement of habitat, along with the cooperation of farmers on the fringes of the forest. But even before I could see the face, Mr. Swami drove our attention to a large multicolored tree squirrel species nicknamed as rainbow squirrel. I saw its nest for the first time in life. These colorful critters can grow to be up to 3 feet long, about twice the length of the American cousin, the eastern gray squirrel. They are so big that they have been crowned the largest squirrel species in the world by the Guinness World Records and hence named as Malabar Giant Squirrel, a wildlife photographer's delight. It is also an indicator species, and its presence is indicative of a healthy forest. IGS plays an essential role in balancing the forest ecological systems by aiding in seed dispersal. It's difficult to clearly spot this creature amidst tall branches of a mixed deciduous forest. However, not just with human voice, but also someone's mobile rang, and we managed to scare this brilliant creature out of our sight quickly.
Sorry, बोलो. Sorry, बोलो.
Heard that switching call? That's unmistakable warning from southern grey langurs. When you hear a langur alarm call in the forest, you can be rest assured that there is tiger or leopard or wild dog movement happening nearby. Based on my experience, such alarm call comes from langur in this jungle, mostly for leopard. Both are excellent climbers and arch enemies after all. Did the jungle fowl pick up the same movement, or another predator was out there? Our task was to find the source of the sound, and here it is. The baby was visibly restless and scared. If you haven't seen how one sound can swiftly alter an entire serene landscape with chilling sensation, you haven't experienced alarm call made by these langurs. Even though we were almost certain that the warning came from this direction, it was all quiet when we reached. Still not a good idea, kid, to leave mom now. And there you go. You just heard southern grey langur emitting warning call for most probably leopard, a classical wildlife safari moment of South Indian forest. Our guide was somewhat sure now that the call was for leopard because it's distinct for leopard and tiger, but the predator might be still quite far, or the langur was sensing something but wasn't seeing it. Otherwise, the old world monkey would not have stopped and called in quick succession like a series of warning. But how many calls they give also depends on the audience, that is group size, and other factors including fatigue. Research on non-human primate alarm calls is an important means for investigating their cognitive abilities. The main conclusions from these investigations are that primates have the capacity to produce referential vocalizations. Langurs, because of their high position in trees associated to their good vision, are in the best position to spot predators from afar and will call to warn the deer. The deer also benefit from the langur's presence by eating the fruits they drop on the ground. This is called mutualism as opposed to commensalism symbiotic relationship shown between golden jackal and tiger in the second episode of Kaziranga Chronicle. As for the langurs, they benefit from the keen senses of the deer like smell and hearing, especially when they are on the ground. Predation is thought to have affected various traits in them such as body size, group size and composition, vigilance, ecological niche, as well as vocal and reproductive behavior. So without leopard and tiger hunting them, biodiversity would topple and langurs won't sustain either. Our jeep was waiting there with anticipation for further calls. But other than the sound we made, the jungle as if has fallen asleep. It was evident that these langurs weren't sensing any significant danger anymore, though not always they can announce the presence of danger if movement happened under great stealth, which leopards are famous for. I kept on scanning the surrounding for birds and only could see those flameback woodpeckers before finally managing a better angle. Woodpeckers peck on trees not only for food. In summer, they chisel holes in trees to make their nest. During courtship, the male woodpecker uses the pecking sound to serenade the female. While most birds sing to their mates, the woodpeckers peck, and every species of woodpecker has its distinctive repertoire of drum beats. I started observing the langurs again and thought, even if there were a remote chance, we are going to ruin it with this decibel. If we get kids at safari, especially in hot summer afternoon, it's natural for them to at times incessantly chatter, cry and scream. But this was the second time not only the mobile rang, but an adult individual even accepted the call when I was waiting with all ears and eyes peeled to catch a minuscule shift. Might be some emergency, I tried to reason, though I knew that's not the case. Mr. Swami shook his head and we left the spot. I guess now you clearly know why I prefer to go for safari alone. But there wasn't any such customizable solo jeep option here, even if one is ready to pay for all six people, as I explained in detail in my complete Bandipur Safari guide video. To add to my irritation, another JLR jeep came from the opposite direction. And when both the guides were sharing queues, for some reason, a visitor from that jeep decided to loudly announce, "Did you see anything? We could only spot loads and loads of deer." This is not Bandipur National Park. It should be called Deer National Park. And then he alone laughed with an air as if he had cracked a brilliant joke. While we humans tend to take jungle safari as our exclusive privilege for animals to show up and mark their attendance in front of us as we continue to destroy their habitats, we forget that forest has ears. Barely 10 minutes later, I felt that Bandipur Wilderness took his joke very, very personally, albeit their jeep wasn't present for him to witness this spectacle anymore. Our guide stopped as we friendly heard another alarm call. Different animals got different calls for different threats, and then langur or deer calling inside the forest doesn't necessarily mean it's an alarm call. But what we were hearing was certainly the ritualized warning. Decoding and following such alarm calls can be essential to properly track predators and get quality sightings instead of relying on chance encounters. This side, this side. और वेट मत कीजिए, मुझे लगता है आप सीधा चलिए सर, सीधा चलिए. ये सामने से टांग
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Please, सामने आ जाओ please.
ये तो इधर ही आ रहा है। ये तो इधर ही आ रहा है। भैया
अब किल देख रहे हैं अपना।
भैया इधर तो नहीं आएगा।
ओ भाई
So 6-7 years old, male.
साउंड आ रहा है पीछे कुछ।
Hello? Hello?
Sweats from my forehead was dripping on camera as a bold male leopard just heightened the mercury in Bandipur National Park. Also, we have reached peak civilization moment. I was watching my first big cat sighting in Bandipur in tandem with mobile ringtone.
Hello? Hello? Oh God. Wow. Please.
One silver lining was our jeep was the only one present at the spot. Otherwise, things could have been much more chaotic. Or shall I say golden lining? Because what happened next was totally an out of the world moment, and I forgot about all annoyances, soaking in the magic of nature's brilliance. Along with me, now you are watching a living masterpiece, languidly scent marking on the tree with a fluid grace that seemed to defy gravity.
Out of the world. This is out of the world.
Leopards, even bold ones, don't remain in vicinity for such a long time, and typically a regular wildlife safari offers those blink and you miss moments when the animal is seen getting down from trees or crossing the road briskly. But here, as if the entire forest has joined in celebration of Rosettes to protest against Deer National Park. Leopard spots are called rosettes because they resemble the shape of a rose. These patterns camouflage their bodies as they move through the grass and trees. Baby leopards are born with barely visible spots, which emerge as they grow older.
She's a leopard. Unbelievable. She's about 6.5 months old. Oh, sorry, 6.5 years old.
Unless you catch leopards sleeping at a quiet place, catching them in action for such duration during safari is very rare. Here you saw 9 minutes of leopard footage straight, but the actual sighting lasted for almost 20 minutes. Just that I took some time to admire the animal through my own eyes instead of camera lens, and the rest of the footage is crappy like this as the jeep was moving, so haven't included here. But was this the highlight of today in terms of quality sighting? Who knows? As I have told you, I have seen two leopards. While in some regions they are nocturnal, but most of them are active mainly from dusk till dawn. That's why first 1 hour of morning safari and last 1 hour of afternoon safari are most promising in terms of spotting big cat, usually as they move. And it was almost 6 p.m., yet the guide was not showing any signs of return because it's JLR Jeep. Forest Department jeeps returned an hour back, and had this been largely dry for us, I guess we would be leaving too. But this leopard sighting made Mr. Swami also ecstatic, so he was all charged up. Back in Bangalore, but still wearing the same t shirt just for the feel of it. When our guide said longest leopard sighting, he actually meant longest quality sighting because even in future safaris in Bandipur, I have seen a leopard for 45 minutes. He was sleeping on top of a hill, and even those who were using 500 prime lens could barely see. And since I was using telephoto lens, I was able to see the leopard through my lens, but these are not considered very good sightings because from bare eyes, hardly anything was visible. But here the leopard came right in front of our jeep, approached us head on, and spent a lot of time. Thank God our jeep was the only one in the spot. Otherwise, I don't think the leopard would have spent so much time scent marking on it. Perhaps OpenAI's Sora would create such visuals in a year or two, or come dangerously close of resembling the real life immersive experience without ever needing to visit a jungle just by textual prompt. But who will replace the sheer magnificence and awesomeness of actually seeing this in the wild? Apple Vision Pro's advanced version. I mean, sure, technology has done wonders, and nowadays you see in Discovery Channel, in Animal Planet, curated experience of lions hunt, monarchs migration, half-concocted visuals of humans surviving in the wild, all with cutting-edge technologies presented for your drawing room experience. But I believe nothing can replace the actual sensation of seeing a real feline in his raw self amidst natural habitat. And in India, leopard population has increased in the last 4 years drastically, almost 63%. That's why it has become a tad bit easier in Indian national parks in comparison to how it was before to spot leopards, especially in hilly regions like Rajasthan's Javai or MP's Sariska or even in Bandipur. In Kaziranga, it is still incredibly difficult. I haven't seen any leopard in Kaziranga inside the national park. The only time I came across a leopard was when it was on the highway. Kaziranga has two different kinds of leopards though. One is this common Indian leopard, another is clouded leopard, which is very rarely seen around Namdapha region. In southern India, we only get to see this one species of leopard, that is the common Indian leopard. And the black leopard that people talk about in Kabini is also the common Indian leopard. By the way, a lot of people think that black leopard is exclusively in Kabini. That's not true. It's there in Bandipur also, it's there in Kaziranga also. It's just that they are not so well advertised. Speaking about Kabini, some of you might have seen renowned wildlife photographer and filmmaker Mr. Shahjang has captured scarface in Kabini, scent marking on a tree similarly. And I'm immensely happy that without not even half as sophisticated equipments or wildlife experience under the belt, without any team support, I alone managed to capture this footage with a modest beginner range SLR in a bigger habitat. Wish I could spend as much time inside the forest as these professionals do. But nevertheless, this time Bandipur has been very special, and even leopards actually provided me apparently some photo ops. Proud moment also to witness the seamless merging between untamed nature and control technology when somebody was speaking on phone in the vicinity of a leopard. We tried to gesture him twice to make him stop, but he was pretending to not listen. Because if I would have spoken up, then that would have driven away the animal, because they are very, very shy animals actually. No matter whether you call them bold or whatever, leopards don't like to be seen at all. They're not like tigers. Sometimes, if you get to see a tiger, sometimes it might feel like as if they're giving you photo ops. But leopards are not like that. Have you noticed one uncanny thing, that when the leopard actually came to our vicinity, there was no alarm call. The jungle was totally silent. That's because langurs or deer cannot always detect the movement. Sometimes, the langurs can sense from very far because they're seeing actually, and they produce alarm calls. And sometimes they stop also because they believe that there's no necessity to produce the alarm, because we need to remember that they are not producing the calls for us. They are just producing the calls to actually, as an altruism mechanism to actually tell others to safeguard themselves, right, in the group. So it's not for humans. So always you cannot rely on alarm calls. But in this next sighting that I had, there you will get to see how alarm call plays a very significant part. Especially there will be like, if you are well acquainted with classical Indian music, there is a concept called Jugalbandi, where somebody with a musical instrument asks the questions and somebody responds with two different musical instruments, or sometimes it can be the same instrument as well. In the second sighting, you will see that how the jungle becomes resoundingly loud in sharp contrast with this one, because the langur and deer almost participate in a jugalbandi, that somebody is giving the call, somebody is receiving it, and how the call is getting propagated all around the forest. And so it's interesting that though I have multiple big cat sightings in my 6 safaris in Bandipur, but all the sightings are very distinct. They're very different from each other. So yeah, it has been a fantastic outing in Bandipur, and I hope you enjoy the experience alongside with me. We stopped next to watch another predator, a juvenile changeable hawk eagle with striking appearance. Changeable refers to the changing dark morph to pale morph, and they have massive rounded wings. Not sure whether the bird was seeking for own share, as a little ahead we saw an adult savoring evening meal. Typically, they are not active this time, so I was surprised to see 2 of them at this hour. I could hear sharp alarm calls from spotted deer. By the commotion inside the jeep, others apparently have seen leopard, but I didn't. So I asked the guide what's going on. He whispered in surprise, "You can't see. Look at the ground right there, close to you."
तो डियर अलार्म कॉल कर रहा है। निकल रहा है, उसको नहीं दिख रहा है, उसको नहीं दिख रहा है।
Everyone all around was eager to resoundingly communicate, "We have seen you. Your cover is blown." This is called terror. Leopards don't like to be seen, and for first few seconds I couldn't even spot him as my eyes got all dazzled from continuously shooting under burnt golden summer landscapes hue. Almost back-to-back leopard sightings, and I just couldn't believe what was going on. Bandipur has never been remotely this gracious in my multiple outings before. But as the sun made its descent towards the horizon, for most species, especially for nocturnal ones like big cats, the jungle just started to wake up. Our guide was calling this one as bold male too, months after a West Bengal zoo courted controversy by naming a lion pair Shita Akbar, and the subsequent ideological clash resulting in Calcutta High Court directing authorities to reconsider names. Bandipur has appealed to its regular safari visitors to refrain from naming individual animals in the wild. It was time. After witnessing many spectacular moments, we needed to leave the forest for now. It was an early start of the day for me as I left Bangalore at the wee hours to be here now, and I knew once I would return to JLR, I would be feeling tired, as right now the senses were too starstruck. Where did this bold male go though? Almost as if vanished into thin air after the feline came out in the open, triggered by alarm calls from all possible directions. The guide said around 4:45 p.m. in front of a waterbody that a bold male leopard was targeting this place and probably hunted down. Wait, it's the same waterbody. Hold on. Does that mean the second leopard we spotted was the one who made a recent kill? Did he do it? I think he didn't do it because he's planning to do it. Adjacent to the water body, out of the sight from those deer who were grazing near the bank, a leopard just positioned himself to create a perfect ambush. He was watching the herd that's crossing in front of him and also the ones near the bank, and both groups were oblivious of his existence, though the ones near the water bank started to sense something wasn't quite right. Not completely sure it was the second leopard we saw, but either he or someone else will squeeze life out of one unlucky herbivore tonight in the golden hour of Deer National Park.